Hey there, this is Akshay Madan and welcome to a new video. And in this video, we are going to explore a new dataset from Kaggle that is about student marks. So we are going to predict the average score of students, and we are also going to visualize the data. So this data is not that simple because this data is having different features for the students. That means the students who are having parents who are not well educated and the parents who are having master degree, and the students who are depending upon the schools for getting the lunch, and the students who are bringing the lunch from their homes. So these are different features. Depending upon these features, student is getting some marks. We are going to predict this. Okay, so without wasting more time, let's go to kaggle.com. First of all, I'm going to tell you what is the data set I'm using. So this is a data set and student performance in exams, and you can just explore this data set, and I'm also going to teach you how to do it, right? So let's go to my notebook. So first of all, import NumPy and Pandas. Then you should import Seaborn Matplotlib, and I'm using a different style for my Seaborn plot, that is dark grid. That is going to give me a good contrast with the background because I'm using dark background, right? So as I've already told you many times that this is the path from where we are going to get the data. So you need to read CSV and just paste that path over here and print the 20 values of head, right? So this is the data. So as you can see, my data is having gender column, race, ethnicity, parental level of education. That means what is the education level of the parents. What is the lunch? That means free or reduced. That means the student is getting student is getting lunch from school or he's bringing the tiffin box. Then this is the test preparation course. Um, that the student has completed the course or he has not completed. Then there are three marks, that is math score, reading score and writing score. But we are not interested in these different marks. I'm going to create a new column over here which will be having the values of the average of these three scores. Okay, and that is going to be our target class and we are going to predict those marks. Okay, so coming to the next thing, I am printing the shape. That means there are 1,000 rows and 8 columns. And then I am printing the description of my data. So I can see over from here that my maths is having average score of 66, reading is having 69, and writing is having 68. Okay. Then what I'm doing, I'm just creating a new column so I can see the output, mean score. How you can do it? So just add these three columns and divide by 3 and round it, right? So this is how you should create a different column. Okay, and the values of this average is going to get stored in mean score, which is a new data frame column. So it is, we can see over here in the output, right? Then after this, I want to explore that how many females are there in my class and how many males are there in the class. So I can see from the df at gender dot value count, I can see that there are 518 females and 482 males. So there are more females in the class. That's a good thing, right? Now what I'm doing, I'm just label encoding my data so that I can read my data in numeric form. I don't want these strings. There are a lot of strings, right? I want it to get converted into numerics. So I'm label encoding these 5 columns. How you can do it? Just import the label encoder class from preprocessing. Define a variable getting this class, and you can fit and transform your data like this. Okay, it is simple. After this, what I'm getting the data in the numeric form. So all my data is just 1 2 3 4. So that this would also help me in feeding my data into my model, right? Now after this, what I'm doing, I'm analyzing the gender and race. So I'm getting the relationship, I'm finding the relationship between race and gender. So I can see that I already know that there are more females in the class. So this is obvious that 0 means female and 1 means female. So let me write over here so that when you will be referring my this notebook, you will not have any problem. So 1 is male, and then 0 means female. Sorry, female, right? So now I can explore it. I can see that my x-axis denotes the gender and my y-axis denotes the count. And this is a hue. I'm using a hue, and in this hue I have given the column as race and ethnicity. So it is going to differentiate my data based on the race of the students. So I can see that there are more number of females in this green building. And what does this green building denote? It denotes the second group, right? Second race. And what does this second race belong to in my strings? So second is present at 1. Let's check out. So second group C. So that means there are more number of females in group C, and there are least number of females in my group 0. And what does this group 0 denote? Just check it out. 3, position 3. Okay, position 3 is having group A. Okay, now I can see that there are least number of girls in group A, and there are the highest number of girls in group C. Okay, and you can do the same analysis for boys also. Okay, so I can get an idea. I'm getting the idea that group C is having the most number of girls, right? Now I am analyzing the test preparation course column. Now there are two values in test preparation course, whether the student has completed the course or the student has not completed the course. And 1 denotes the none, that means not done, and 0 denotes completed. Okay, this thing is done by label encoding. Now I can see that 642 students have not completed the course, 358 students have done the course. Now we are going to plot a pie chart for this thing. Now I'm giving the labels as none and completed, colors as red and blue, and I'm plotting a pie chart, that is plt.py. Just give the value counts, that means I'm giving this data to my pie chart. 1 as 642 and 0 as 358, and giving the labels as labels and colors as colors as I have defined over here. You can change the color according to you, it's totally up to you. I can see that the larger area in the circle is given to none, and smaller part of circle is given to completed, right? After this, I am plotting a bar chart denoting the y as my mean score. So this is my mean score, and this x as test preparation course. So this clearly uh, uh, mm, tells that the students who have done the course, that means 0, who have done the course, they are getting more mean score, and the students who have not done the course, they are getting less mean score, right? So their average score is less. That means the students should focus on doing the test preparation course so that their mean score should improve, right? Okay, coming to the next thing, analyzing the lunch. So in the class, there are some students who are depending on the schools for their lunch, and there are some students who are depending upon their homes for getting the lunch. I can see. So 0 denotes the students who are depending on schools. 1 denotes who are bringing the tiffin boxes. I've already checked. I have not written. Let me write it so that you should not face any problem. So 0 means school lunch or free or reduced lunch, and 1 means tiffin. Right? So it shows that government is providing free lunch to these students who cannot afford the lunch by their own, but still their score is not as equal as the students who are bringing their own lunch. So this might be possible because of some other features. We are going to explore it because there are many features other than this lunch. So let's explore them also. But you have understood this, right? So I'm just plotting a bar plot with my x as my df at lunch, y as my df at mean score, and palette is my inferno. This palette is totally up to you, right? Now I am analyzing parental level of education. So this is the most important column according to me. So because I got a very good relationship between mean score and parental level from here, right? So I'm just plotting the bar plot with my x as parental level of education, y as mean score, and data as df. I can see that this red column or this red building is reaching the highest point. That is these red building students are getting the highest mean score. Now what does this red building show? This shows the third level of parental level of education. Now I should go to my data and check out what does this 3 show. So in parental level of education, go to 3, which is present at index 2. Go over here and check out that 2 is having master's degree, right? So the parents who are having master's degree in their studies, their students or their children are performing good in marks, right? And coming to the lower building, green is the lower building. It belongs to category 2. Just go up. Second category of parental level is present at group at index 16. Okay, at index 16, high school. now you are having a good idea about what is the importance of this parental level of education, right? Because the students who are having parents who have done only the high school in their studies, their students are not performing good in their studies, because might be there are some other features, there are some other reasons, but maybe their parents are not focusing much on their children, or maybe some other reason. That's just the data. I'm just reading the data, right? Okay, right. Now, coming to the next thing. So this is the inference line. You should read it. And coming to the next thing, I'm just plotting a pair plot for my data, right? Because I wanted to get a relationship of each column with each other. So you can just visualize this data. Now I'm plotting the heat map for correlations of my DF columns, right? So now coming to the mean score, I can see that math score, reading, writing, and mean are having a good relation with mean score. That was obvious because these are just added and divided by 3. So they should have good relationship. Coming to the next thing, that this is the gender. Gender, okay, purple, okay, not that good relationship, not that good correlation. Race is having a good correlation. Parental level, okay, okay. Then lunch is having a good relationship. Test preparation, not that much, but okay, okay. Now, coming to the next thing, that is data pre-processing, right? Now I'm dropping the math score, writing score, and reading score because that's not our concern. We are having the mean score, that's our target class. Okay, so I'm dropping it. And in the next thing, I'm giving my x data as df dot drop at mean score. That means I'm dropping the mean score because that is my target class. Okay, so that would come in my y. And I'm splitting the data with my 20% data going to testing, 80% data going to my training, right? After this, I'm focusing on model building, and I'm using the logistic regression. Okay, and I'm making a variable with my model, and it's storing my class with my solver as liblinear. Now this whole thing I'm going to explain in my LR video, that is logistic regression video. I'm going to explain it, don't worry. Now you just focus on how we can model it and how we can predict it. Now I'm fitting the data with my extend and y train. Okay, that's just a general step. First of all, we define a model, then we fit the data, then we predict the data. So now I'm predicting the values for my X test. My model is trained with my training data. Now I'm predicting the values for my testing, right? And I'm storing all this prediction in my prediction. Now if you'll see the prediction, these are my predictions from my model, and these are the original values, right? These are the Y test. Now I want to find a difference between my original values and my predicted values. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm printing the absolute values of difference between predictions and my Y test. And I'm finding the mean of this difference. Now I can see that the average mean, the average difference between my errors is 11.03. So according to my model, if my model is predicting 60 marks for a student, those marks may be plus 11 or plus minus 11, right? I know that this accuracy is not that good, so I'm continuously focusing on how I can improve it. Now you can also code it by your own, and if you get more accuracy, more good model, you just make me a collaborator. I'll see it. Okay. So I think this is enough for this video. Till the next content, keep coding, keep innovating, and thank you.